I want to delve into one of your signature promises on the campaign trail, which was to end inflation, to lower prices. You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe
Can
it.
you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow.
We're going to be a tariff nation. It's not going to be a cost to you. It's going to be a cost to another country. I heard Kamala the other day, Comrade Kamala. She said, oh, if you do that, he's raising your taxes. No, no, no. I'm not raising your taxes. I'm raising China and all of these countries in Asia and all over the world, including the European Union, by the way, which is one of the most egregious.
I've spoken with some economists about your proposal for tariffs, and they say they don't see how it will not make items cost more in the United States.
They'll approve it. They'll approve it. And number one, I don't need them. I don't need Congress, but they'll approve it.
The Apprentice did a lot to help Donald Trump convey himself as an intelligent and savvy businessman, and it's an act that a lot of his supporters apparently bought.
When I saw Trump, I mean, come on, the guy's a genius.
Yeah.
You know, media goes around telling us that he's stupid.
Right.
He's an idiot.
Right.
The guy's a genius. I mean, look what he did with his construction companies and stuff, you know?
Well, he did go bankrupt a couple times.
He did.
It may be unexpected to Americans who thought Trump was going to lower their prices. Because if you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring grocery prices down, I have some very bad news for you. A lot of our produce comes from Mexico. 2/3 of the tomatoes that Americans purchase are from Mexico. 90% of the avocados that they purchase are from Mexico, just to mention two examples. So that guac is definitely going to cost extra. If you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring down the cost of housing, a lot of our lumber, cement, other materials comes from Canada, which means that construction costs are going to go up. Not to mention all of the ways he's going to roil the U.S. auto industry, because a lot of autos cross borders in North America multiple times before they're ultimately finished and sold to consumers. Not to mention the fact that a lot of U.S. manufacturers purchase inputs, intermediate goods like metals and cement and other things from Canada, from Mexico, and not to mention even the retaliation that we should expect. All of which is going to be very bad for consumers, not to mention, again, many of the U.S. workers that Trump allegedly wants to help.
Did you just float out the idea of getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs?
Well, okay.
Were you serious about that?
Yeah, sure. But why not? Because ready? Our country was the richest relatively in the 1880s and 1890s. A president who was assassinated named McKinley. He was the tariff king. He spoke beautifully of tariffs. His language was really beautiful.
The problem with the Democrats is they've never run out of things that they can give away for free, quote unquote. When you talk about $1 trillion in debt payment just on interest alone every year, we can't just talk about the military, though. The military can do some things better. We can save some money just in the way of contract. We can be careful that we don't decrease our abilities, because China is right on our heels. However, if you talk about 75% of the budget, 75% is non-discretionary. We're going to have some hard decisions. We got to bring the Democrats in and talk about Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. There's hundreds of billions of dollars to be saved, and we know how to do it. We just have to have the stomach to actually take those challenges on. But we can't just talk about our discretionary budget. That's less than 25% of our budget. We have to have some real hard discussions.
But even Trump's most ardent billionaire backers are panicking about the prospect of what will happen to the economy if Trump actually gets his way.
This God Bless America Bible that he has, that he printed 120,000 copies of in China, so the America First guy that's producing his Bible in China, costs $3 to make it. He's hawking them for $59.99 here. Those are things that people who are actually religious, who care about it, are looking at it and saying, like, is this guy just a huckster?
Let's get to the boycott China business. There's only 700,000 Americans dead because of China. Why would we want to keep buying more Chinese? Our side needs to fight back.
Can I check this out real quick? So it's made in China.
But my stickers aren't made in China.
Okay.
Donald Trump has bamboozled a lot of Americans into thinking that he's looking out for their best interests. And while it's extremely frustrating and disheartening to see, we need to show these people that when everything is falling apart, the left has credible and practical solutions for their actual problems. In the meantime, Speaker Mike Johnson has threatened massive changes to the Affordable Care Act, potentially stripping funding for millions of Americans who currently rely on Medicaid and Medicare, including many of the very same people who just voted for Donald Trump a month ago. And it's sad that so many will apparently only realize how catastrophic their choices will be for them personally now that it's apparently too late, but Donald Trump will likely continue to play on their frustrations and fears, distracting them from the reality of the harm that his policies are inevitably going to cause them. And we can't afford to let the same cycle of empty promises and hate continue. We need to engage with those who've been misled, not with anger, or not just with anger, there's certainly going to be some anger, but also with the truth and a vision for a better, more equitable future. As the GOP pushes, as they will, for cuts and deregulation, we've got to remind voters that real change isn't about scapegoating the vulnerable, it's about creating sustainable policies that uplift everyone, not just the privileged few. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.